It happened last year at the beginning of spring when we were experiencing a month of rain almost every day, whether it was a light drizzle or a full-blown storm. I was doing deliveries for a popular restaurant in my area, so rain wasn't anything out of the ordinary when I had to run through it all the time to pick up and deliver orders. That night started out like any other. I arrived at work at 6 p.m. and delivered a few orders before getting one that had to be delivered pretty far. About 10 minutes from our restaurant and into a more wooded part of town. Not a dense forest or anything, just more spread out and less populated. The streets were lined with trees, and most of the neighborhoods were hidden from view from the main road as I was driving. There was only one car behind me, not something out of the ordinary, just reflecting how empty the roads were. But then, when I was maybe about 2 miles into the drive, a beam of headlights from a car in front of me suddenly appeared, revealing a car in the middle of the road that was blocking and stopped. I slammed on the brakes as the car was now in a crossways position, blocking the entire RD. The person behind me did the same, stopping so close to me that I was surprised we didn't collide. After a few seconds of initial shock, I stared at the car in the middle of the road. It was a beat-up sedan, and its headlights were still on, making it too bright to see who was inside the car. I would say that the person inside must have been asleep at the wheel, or not paying attention, but it seemed like they had intentionally left their headlights off until the last second, when they suddenly turned into the road. I didn't see where they came from because it was too dark, so I wasn't sure if they were just driving down the road or coming from the side of the road. The car behind me started honking its horn angrily, clearly frustrated by the situation. Maybe I should have been more skeptical, but at a time like that, when something crazy is happening, it's hard to think clearly. However, the car behind me was too close for me to back up, and the car in front blocked the road ahead, so I couldn't go anywhere unless one of them moved first. After a moment, the man behind me stopped, honking his horn, and got out of his car. I looked in the mirror, seeing a large man walking through the rain angrily as he passed my car and headed to the other car. He stood in front of their window while yelling at whoever was inside, but with the rain I could barely hear what he was saying, and I couldn't hear anything from the other at all. I saw the man outside banging on the window several times while yelling, but then suddenly he stopped and became silent. He slowly backed away from the window, then nervously walked back to his car. When he got in the car, the man from the other car got out wearing a thick jacket that covered most of his face. I started to feel very scared and still had no way to go other than to run out of my car and into the woods, which might have been a bad idea. So I sat there and watched the man quickly approach the car behind me. But as he reached the car door, the car quickly backed up, their tires squealing against the asphalt, lost control and skidded off the road. They passed several trees before finally crashing into one of the trees further into the woods. The man who was still in the middle of the road turned and looked at my car, making eye contact with me through my side view mirror. With fear, I put my car in reverse and pressed the gas out past the man, then turned around and speed away. I of course called the police, but still don't know what really happened there that night. An officer arrived at the scene about 25 minutes after I left, and the only thing that was there was the car that was stuck in the woods crashed into a tree. The other car was gone and neither of the two men were there. I think we can all assume what might have happened without having any proof. But there are still a million questions that need answering. All I can say is that if the person behind me wasn't there, I might be in his position right now.